everyone. My name is Lani Anaya. I am from Mexico. I was born and raised there, and some years ago I moved to Sweden. I have been traveling and migrating to different places along my life the last 7 years. Currently I'm back to Sweden where I'm residing, and I'm part from some organizations. The organization I'm full-time is in Sweden, is ACT Church of Sweden, working with faith-based organizations and sustainable development. I'm program manager for Central America there. I also work with the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations as facilitator of the Young Peacebuilders training for Latin America and the Caribbean. I'm part of two networks, My World Mexico, a Mexican network working with sustainable development, and I am organizing partner, like global partner, for the non-governmental organizations major group on this processes of the HLPFs, and with Juventudes por la Paz, working in Latin America and especially the intersections of young and peace building. So for me, the SDG that is most important, relevant, or that encompasses more of my work has been the one about peace, the SDG 16, about peaceful and strong institutions. I have gone beyond the fact of the institutional aspects, but mostly focusing on young peace and security, how young people and young women are involved, not as troublemakers or as victims, but rather as people who have positive agency and transformation when conflicts happen. And that SDG has been really close to me for many years now. How it is translated nowadays is I have built my experience working with young people, doing trainings, doing facilitation, doing research. I did one of my master's degrees has been doing field work in Kosovo with this agenda, youth and peace building. Also in Bonn University, I was working with a research department in theology, how young people who are leaders in faith-based groups are showing this leadership and agency. And currently with my PhD, I also do a research on how young people in the Latin American and Caribbean region are building a regional network or mechanism for the young peace and security, youth peace and security agenda. So for me, it has been really important that after I moved from my country, and when I realized that it would be something more permanent, by getting married and having some more base in Europe, that I could contribute back to my country of origin, to Mexico and my region. Thanks to the Diaspora IOM initiative, I realized that I am a diaspora, which I didn't even identify myself before this initiative invited me to the project. So for me, that has been really eye-opening, to know that I am a diaspora, but still a person who is not right now in their country, but contributes back as much as I can. And as I did in my description, all my works and my jobs are related to Mexico or the Latin American region. So my peace building work is there because I want to give back to the place where I was born. When it comes to what inspires me to do this work, well, living violence in my home country, structural, direct, physical violence there was something that really moved me, and seeing violence happening in Mexico moved me to think that I wanted to work for peace and to build peace and dialogue and mutual understanding, and that has been inspiring me since then. I work with partnerships, so having the chance to work with these organizations, partnerships are something relevant. And I'm going to give some examples with ACT Church of Sweden. I mostly work with community-based organizations in El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, and that has allowed me to see some power relation, how sustainable development and cooperation works between countries in Europe and Latin America, and try to deconstruct these power relationships also by having partnerships and having dialogues. Also with UN agencies in my home country, when I'm not living there, I am still in talks with UN agencies, for example, to activate the Youth, Peace and Security agenda, with regional bodies in Latin America. And part of my work is also to see opportunities with private sector, how private sector can support different projects, not only with finances, but also by embracing the models we have as civil society. So all this, I think that partnerships also for peace are more than relevant. Investment for peace and having those relationships between governments and UN bodies and civil society and more actors, academics, all these are more than relevant for the work we do for achieving sustainable societies. I think that Young Diaspora, as myself, can contribute by doing those linkages. I think people in this situation, being diaspora, we have the opportunity that we know the context where we come from and we know another context. So having the capacity to link different contexts, different perspectives, different understandings, that says a lot. And so I think there is a huge power there. Having these dimensions really into our hearts and realms. For me, that has been really helpful now that I work. Going to the field, you know the dynamics, but you also know how other contexts work when it comes to civil society, when it comes to government. So having those assets, I think that empowers people, and also to build narratives, building a narrative in Mexico about Sweden, or in Sweden in Mexico, and so on. That has been also something really interesting for me to do, and I think other people can do it too. And to be connected to my country, for me, that has been more than important. That any initiative I work with or anything I am involved with can be part of my country, from Mexico, from Latin America and the Caribbean, and in that way I have to be actively pursuing the connection, so I know who is working in the region with these topics, and they know me. So that's the way I engage, by creating those relationships. And my expectations for the Global Young Diaspora Summit is we can learn from each other. We can see new ways to involve diaspora in different projects, mechanisms, activities, and that we can also get to know each other. People living this, being diaspora, I think it's really nice that we can connect, share the good things, the challenges of being diaspora, and how can we contribute to our society to be more peaceful, more democratic, and better. And I wish you so much learning and hope in this summit, and see you at the Young Diaspora Summit. Thank you.